Welcome, students. I hope you will have a great time. I can't wait to share my thoughts about this lesson with you. Our lesson today is 8C, Read C, Students Book, page 88. Let's start first with our learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students will be able to 1. Identify the type of text after examining the layout. 2. Locate some specific information after scanning the text about football codes. Number 3. Discuss the most interesting varieties of football codes and give reasons. Why is football special? Why is the game important? Forget about money, fame, and power. What makes it special is that you play for a team. Do you mean teamwork matters? Football is about teamwork, discipline, community, pride, and fans, more than carrying a ball across a goal line. Read and answer the following questions. You can stop the video, answer the questions, then check your answers. Question number 1. What type of text is it? An email, a story, an article, a novel? It's an article. Number 2. Where can you find it? In advertisement, in a magazine, in a story, in a history book? In a magazine. Read through the text and answer the following questions.
8C. 1. Read.
Football codes. In different parts of the world, the word football is used to describe some very different games. These games are called codes, and the only things they have in common are that they are played with a ball. They are all team games, and they are related to games played in medieval times. Most people think that football got its name from the fact that players kick the ball, but that's not true. Different medieval games became known as football because they were played by peasants on foot and not on horseback as the noblemen did. The game the British know as football is officially called association football. People in the USA and Australia call it soccer. In this game, players are allowed to use their feet, heads, and bodies, except for the goalkeeper, who can use his hands too. The rules of association football were created in the late 19th century, and the first international match took place in 1872 between Scotland and England. Today, the World Cup is held every 4 years and is watched by millions of people. In the USA, football is something different. What Americans call football, the rest of the world calls American football. In this game, players mostly use their hands. They score points by carrying the ball to score a touchdown, or they can kick a field goal through the upright posts. American football developed from early versions of rugby and association football. Football for Australians is Australian rules football, or Aussie rules, and players use their hands and feet to kick, pass, and shoot. Aussie rules began as a way for cricket players to keep in shape during the winter, and it was played on cricket fields. That is why the fields used for Aussie rules are round and much bigger than those that are used for other types of football. Other football codes include Canadian football, Gaelic football, and rugby, which is also considered a football code. One thing's for sure though, football, whichever game you're talking about, is very popular across the globe.
C. Now scan the text, then read it carefully and answer the questions. Choose A, B, or C. You can stop the video, answer the questions, then check your answers. Number 1. What is a football code? A. One of the various games that go by the name football. B. An original form of football that was played many years ago. C. A description of how different types of football are played around the world. The correct answer is A. One of the various games that go by the name football. Can you justify your answer? From the text, here we have football is used to describe some very different games. These games are called codes. Number 2. According to the text, most people think that football A. is just one type of game, B. became known in medieval times, C. received its name because the players used their feet to play the game. The correct answer is C. Received its name because the players used their feet to play the game. Can you justify your answer from the text? Here we have most people think that football got its name from the fact that players kick the ball, but that's not true. Number 3. What is true about association football? A. Its official name is soccer. B. It is known as soccer in some parts of the world. C. None of the players are allowed to use their hands. The correct answer is B. It is known as soccer in some parts of the world. Can you justify your answer? From the text, the game the British know as football is officially called association football. People in USA and Australia call it soccer. Number 4. Which of the statements applies to American football only? A. Goals are scored with feet. B. It comes from earlier forms of other games. C. It is referred to as just football by some people. The correct answer is B. It comes from earlier forms of other games. Can you justify your answer? From the text, American football developed from early versions of rugby and association football. Number 5. What is unique about Aussie rules? A. It is played only in the winter. B. Players use their hands and feet. C. Its pitch is a different shape and size. The correct answer is C. Its pitch is a different shape and size. Can you justify your answer? From the text, that is why the fields used for Aussie rules are round and much bigger than those that are used for other types of football. Post reading. Students Book, page 88. Over to you. Discuss. Which of the varieties of football do you find the most interesting? Why? Here we have association football. 2 teams with 11 players each, 10 players plus goalkeeper, round ball. Americans and Australians call it soccer. Players use their feet, heads, and bodies. Only the goalkeeper can touch the ball. A goal is scored when a player kicks the ball through the opponent's goalposts. American football. 2 teams with 11 players each. The ball is oval. Players use their hands to carry the ball. Scoring a touchdown requires a player to carry the ball to the opponent's end zone. And a field goal is scored when a player kicks the ball through the opponent's goalpost. Five-a-side football, a smaller version of association football, two teams with five players each. Round ball, the pitch duration and goalposts are smaller. Suggested answers. I find Australian rules football the most interesting because it's different and it's played on a round pitch. Also, I've never seen it, so it would be very interesting to watch. I find the association football the most interesting because it is popular in the whole world, not only in Australia or in the USA. I find the American football the most interesting because it is similar to rugby. The ball is oval and it is the toughest of all the codes of football. I find the five-a-side football the most interesting because it is similar to association football, but smaller in the size of the pitch, the duration, and the number of players. I find the Canadian football the most interesting because it is similar to rugby and the ball is oval. I find the Gaelic football the most interesting because it is similar to rugby, but the ball is spherical and made of leather, resembling a volleyball. Can you think of a new variety of football? What would you add? What would you change? I would add an extra player to each team in association football who can touch the ball with his hands. I would change the goalposts and the crossbar to be one big arc. Think of your own variety of football or a new code. Would you change the number of players? Would you change the rules? Would you change the size of the pitch? Would you change the shape of the ball? Think and decide to make your own variety of football. To sum up, I learned how to locate specific information after scanning the text. I learned how to discuss preferences and justify them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.